Hey guys, Dps here coming with another video, and this one today is going to be a Warlock Affliction guide for Mythic Plus. Now, the reason I'm making this video for Mythic Plus is because I'm going to be very busy over the next few weeks with Nighthold release. I'm going to be Mythic raiding, I'm going to be preparing for Mythics, I'm going to be preparing for Heroic, Normal, and not only all of that, I'm also going to be coming out with Nighthold content for you guys. So instead of focusing on making Mythic Plus content when all this Nighthold stuff is coming out, over the next few weeks, I'm just going to be focused on getting you guys content for Affliction Warlocks out on all the bosses and things like that, talk about all the builds you should be running for those, and hopefully that will be a good resource for you guys in the future. But right now, let's talk about Mythic Plus. So for an Affliction Warlock in Mythic Plus, this is definitely the build you're going to want to be running. The build is Malefic Grasp, Contagion, Howl of Terror, Sow the Seeds, Burning Rush, Grimoire of Supremacy, and Soul Conduit. And this is really just going to give you the best of both worlds. It's going to give you the best AoE, and it's going to give you the best single target. And that's really all you can ask for a Mythic Plus build. And Warlocks are really blessed this patch to have such a powerful build to run in Mythic Plus. It's not really getting nerfed that much. Even though Malefic Grasp is being changed from 80 to 70%, this is definitely still going to be the go-to build. Now let's talk about why it's so strong, and then let's get into how to do DPS with it. So the reason this build is so strong is because Malefic Grasp increases the damage done of your dots by 80%. Obviously, you can tell how that's very powerful on a single target fight when you have all your UAs up and you're banking reap stacks and things like that for a Mythic Plus. Clearly, 80% increased damage on your dots while channeling is going to be a great bonus to you guys. The next talent, Contagion, just another great single target talent, 18% increased damage whenever you have a UA on the target, really strong as well. Sow the Seeds, your AoE baseline talent. This basically makes it so you have a viable option to use on 5 to 6 targets. It's really just it basically triples the damage of your Seed of Corruption on 5 or 6 targets. Really, really powerful, really strong talent to be running. The other ones just sort of complement them. Soul Conduit, obviously very good for single target and AoE, just gives you more shards to spend on UA and Seed of Corruption. And then Supremacy is just the baseline Grimoire for Affliction. I don't recommend running Sacrifice with the nerf to it. I just don't think it's worth running anymore. So without further ado, let's get on to how to DPS single target with this build, and then we'll go on to the multi-target and AoE fights. So for single target with this build, it's fairly straightforward to run. All you're going to want to be doing is casting your UA and your Corruption, and then just UA twice, and then Reap and then Drain. Now this is the basic rotation that I've been showing you guys forever. It's super easy to play, super easy to run. Most of the time people don't have trouble single target with this build, but also you have to think there is a little bit of variation that you can do with single target with this build, and let's talk about the variation. If you're more of an advanced Warlock or things like that, you can do this. If you're more of a beginner, you're just kind of jumping into it for the first time, or you're not really too sure how to play with this build, I highly recommend just playing it the way I just showed you and the way I've been talking about it for a long time. But if you're more experienced and stuff like that, you should recognize that in Mythic Pluses, bosses tend to die extremely quickly. And since bosses die so fast, you can generally get away with casting 3, even 4 UAs during your Reap, during your pot, and the boss will basically just die before you run out of shards. So what that means is you're bursting as hard as you can in the window that the boss is dying, but you're not doing optimal DPS. But that's okay, because you're doing the most DPS you can in a minute, but the optimal would do more in like a 4-minute fight, right? So you just want to be playing as optimally as you can play. So if you're a more beginner Warlock, I highly recommend only doing the UA 2 times and then Drain thing, so you never really run out of shards. You're never worried about if you will run out and things like that. But if you're a little bit more advanced and you know the boss is going to die in a specific window and you just want to dump all your UAs out, go ahead and do that. So that's for single target. Now let's move on and talk about Cleaving. Now, Cleaving is probably one of the more ambiguous things how to do with this build, because you have a couple options, right? Either you could multi-dot. You could keep Agonies, Corruptions, and UAs on all 3 targets, or all 2 targets. You could spam Sow the Seeds. You could, spam Seed of Corruption on all the targets, have it blow up on 3 targets. That would do good damage. But both of those ways are not the optimal way to play. The optimal way to play is to keep Agony and Corruption on all 3 targets, just because those are your baseline dots. And then what you want to do after that is just treat it like a single target fight. You want to pick a mob, drain it, kill it with your UAs, and then switch to a new one. UA it, drain it, kill it, move on to the next. And so I'm going to show you guys the way to do that. So to get all your Corruptions out, obviously you want to start with precasting Seed of Corruption like this. So you precast Seed of Corruption and then maintain Agony on the 3 targets. Okay. Now I will drain here a second just to proc my Seed, and then I'll just go into my single target damage rotation. I'll dump a few UAs into this guy, I'll Reap, and then I'll drain. And then I'll start refreshing my Agonies, because you want to maintain your Agonies. And then, that guy's dead. I'm going to pick a new target, I'm going to start casting Unstable Affliction a couple times. I'll Reap if I have it, and then I'll Drain. Oh, my Corruptions fell off. We'll just, cast a Seed of Corruption. We'll refresh our Agonies real quick here. Oh, that target's dead after that. All right, we'll pick a new one, and we'll cast UA a couple times. We'll Reap, and then we'll Drain. And that's how you want to go about through the whole dungeon, doing your DPS rotation on Cleave. It's definitely going to be the most effective way to do it. It's definitely going to be the best way to get the maximum result out of your UA Warlock. And you might ask, okay, why is Seed of Corruption spamming not better? The reason it's not better is mathematically, you just get more damage from a drained sold UA than you do from a 3-target seed explosion, just the way that the spell power works. And you might be asking, okay, well, if that doesn't work, why don't I want to be multi-target dotting? And the reason you don't want to be multi-target dotting is because when you have your 3 dots out and you're thinking, okay, I want to Contagion all of these guys, well, the 18% increased damage on the Corruption and Agony is nowhere close to the 80% increased damage on that UA. So that's kind of why the build is optimized around, UAing a target a bunch of times and then draining, just because that UA damage is so much higher. So that's how you want to be playing on 3-target Cleave. Now, after that, let's talk about AoE. So on AoE, obviously you're going to be wanting spamming Seed of Corruption as it is your highest hitting AoE ability on 4 or more targets. So the way you want to be playing is there is a rotation to it. You don't just want to sit there and spam Seed of Corruption. You will run out of soul shards. The way you want to be playing is you want to get Agony out on a few mobs first. So you'll see I'll Seed here. I'll Agony the mobs. I'll Drain here to proc the Seed. And then I'll Seed. And then Agony. Seed. And then Agony. And then Seed. And then Agony. And you just want to go about this single target or this multi-target rotation forever. And this is how I would keep going. I would Seed, and then Agony. Close my eyes. Seed, and then Agony. Seed, and then Agony. You see here in my cast sequence, just Seed, and then Agony. And this is going to be the optimal way for you to do damage on multiple targets because you'll never run out of soul shards. If I was to have no Agonies and I was to just be spamming Seed of Corruption, I would run out of shards so fast and I wouldn't have good sustained AoE DPS. So make sure you're doing that Seed to Agony combo. You'll never run out of soul shards. You'll always be doing good AoE damage. That's how you want to play this build. So this is the training dummy portion of the section. Now I want to show you guys an actual Mythic Plus run. I want to get into it. I want to talk about a few different things. So let's get into that. It will kind of highlight each of these things that I was talking about. And I'll also give you guys a little pro tip. So this is a DHT run that I was doing. Now, the reason I want to talk about this DHT run is because it's bolstering, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a little Affliction Warlock tip on bolstering, okay? Obviously, this poll's a little bit messy because we bolster the blobs. It's not really a big deal, but on bolstering, you have to think, okay, the mobs that die are going to bolster the other ones. So how am I going to deal with a bunch of little mobs like these little slimes that we're about to kill, right? And the way that you want to deal with a bunch of little guys like an Eye of Ashara and here is you want to set up a massive burst, okay? And you think, well, how can I set up a massive burst of Affliction? You know what I mean? The way that you set up a massive burst of Affliction is you want to Seed of Corruption as many times as you can and then explode them all at once. So I'm going to show you guys here. I Seed of Corruption once. Seed of Corruption twice. I haven't done any single point of damage yet. Seed of Corruption 3 times, 4 times, and then I just explode them all at once and everything dies instantly. So that's how you want to deal with bolstering on little mobs. But either way, let's get into the single target portion of this video. So this is for single target. This is how you want to do single target damage. Obviously, I'm not doing the optimal rotation here, but I am doing the maximum rotation for this portion of a boss fight. So you see here, I'll UA twice and then drain. So this is the optimal, but I got a little bit lucky. I got some soul conduit procs and things like that. I put an extra agony out and things like that. And now I'm just going to, UA a bunch of times. And the reason I'm UAing a bunch of times here instead of just doing the optimal 2 times is because the boss is just going to die so quickly. I just want to make sure that I don't have any shards left when the boss dies. I want to make sure I got all of my UAs out. I want to make sure I did as much damage as I can to the boss. Even if it isn't efficient, I just want to get them out and do the damage. Now, if you're not as experienced and you don't know that the boss is going to die quickly and that you're going to run out of shards, don't do it this way. I guarantee you it will be a big DPS loss for you. I can't emphasize it enough. Just do the 2 UA drain thing. You'll be hurting yourself in the long run if the boss is going to live for longer than a minute, okay? But since we're an experienced group, the boss is going to die pretty quickly, and you can see I'm doing really good damage, even though I'm not doing the optimal rotation, okay? So after this portion of the single target, we're going to be moving on to the Cleave and then to the AoE, because it just ends up as this hallway, the way that we do it, it ends up working out perfectly like that, and I can explain the different things. So let's just think back really quick. Let's rewind our brains here. What do we do for Cleaving, okay? We precast Seed of Corruption, we maintain some Agonies, and we UA one guy and then we kill it, okay? So you'll see here we get onto the mobs. I think I have to resummon my Doomguard just because he bugs on that. But you see here, I'll precast my Seed of Corruption. I'll Agony, 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 just like I did in the tutorial. And then I'll just UA one guy a bunch of times, Reap, and then Drain, okay? So I'm draining, draining, draining. He's going to die. Just keep draining. He's going to die. I'm going to get my shard back. And then I go refresh my Agonies. And then I UA a couple times again. Just kill off the last mob. And now we're moving on to the AoE portion. So the AoE portion you see here, I'm precasting a Seed of Corruption. I Agony, Agony, Agony. Wait for those to pop. We get a couple bats over here. I'm precasting a Seed on them. And just look at my cast bar. Look what I'm doing, okay? Seed of Corruption, Agony. Seed of Corruption, Agony. Seed of Corruption, Agony. I'm maintaining that rotation, okay? I'm not letting that rotation fall here. I Seed of Corruption a couple times just because the mobs are dying and I'm high on shards, but you definitely want to maintain a bunch of Agonies on the targets, okay? You see, I really prioritize Agony a lot when I am in a Mythic Plus. I know a lot of Warlocks don't and things like that. When the mobs start getting low and you kind of get lucky in your 5 shards, you can spam Seed a little bit more, but you definitely want to focus on that sort of rotation. So I'm going to show you guys the last pull here, and then we're going to end this video. So when the mobs start getting low, just remember that you can snip them with your Drain Soul and things like that. But you see that I have 9 Reap Sacks saved up for this last pull, which is, you know, good preemptive gameplay by me. And what you should definitely be doing too, make sure you save souls between packs so you have the optimal DPS. So here I have to banish because it's a 10 and this last pack's pretty hard. But you see, precast the Seed of Corruption, get some Agonies out, get Agonies out. I cannot stress this enough. Cast Agony a lot. It's your friend, not your foe. And then I'm just going to be spamming Seed because I have all my Agonies out, okay? So you see Seed, Agony. I always do this sort of combination. It's really powerful to do. You end up doing great AoE DPS, and this is how you want to be maximizing yourself as a UA Warlock in a Mythic Plus run. So I'll show the last boss too. Screw it. We'll watch the last boss. So last boss, we're going to have lust and things like that. So I'm not going to do the optimal rotation. I'm just going to be killing it as quickly as possible. So I pop my pot. You know what I mean? I just go in with 3 UAs. I go ham. Kill it the best I can and do as much burst as I can, and this is how you want to be playing Warlock and Mythic Plus. So yeah, I really hope you guys like this video. I really hope you guys, you know, took some insight to it and appreciate the time I spent to make this. I will be streaming Nighthold. I will be taking the time to do that. So if you guys want to check out my stream for Nighthold, you can watch at twitch.tv/dpstv. I'll include the link in the description below. And I'll be streaming all progression, so starting tomorrow, Tuesday, you guys can tune in. I will start the stream probably a little bit early tomorrow because I definitely will be running a lot of Mythic Plus runs tomorrow. It's just great affixes tomorrow and things like that, so you can definitely check that out. I'll probably be coming out with boss guides for Nighthold within maybe 1 to 2 days of clearing it. So we'll probably have normal clear tomorrow night. We're going to be doing normal first, and then we'll probably do heroic the night after that. So I'll probably have it all cleared by Wednesday, and hopefully I can get a couple guides to you out before the weekend. But definitely before Tuesday, when Mythic comes out, I will have all of it cleared. I'll have all of heroic done, and I'll have all the videos up for you guys so you guys can check out what sort of builds to run and what sort of things to do. So thanks for watching this guide, guys. Hope you guys appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.